2, 1. What is up, everyone? Welcome to the J&J podcast, the J&J show, Jeff and Josh experience, whatever we're going to be calling this. We're going to be having an emergency podcast, emergency update, because normally Sunday nights, I mean, we've talked on Sunday nights before, but right now we want to address the big old elephant in the room, which is that Alex Jones has been reinstated to X. And if you missed it, we're going to have a recap of what happened on the Twitter space or the X space today, where Elon Musk joined, Tristan Tate joined, Andrew Tate joined, Vivek Ramaswamy joined, Patrick Bet David joined, and the Krassenstein brothers joined, but it sounded like they were I was going to say something mean. I was going to say it sounds like they were squeaking bike horns the whole entire time. Do you know who the Krassensteins are, Jeff?
I don't know who those are. Who are they?
They're an interesting group of gentlemen. But anyway, this is episode 11. It's an emergency update, emergency podcast. We're talking the big old man, the frogs that have been turned gay, the man, the myth, the legend, the hated, the loved. Alex Jones has been reinstated to X. Jeff, what are your initial thoughts on this?
So besides that quote that you just said, actually, it's funny. I was on X, and by the way, shout out to Elon Musk for hosting a space and bringing back him. Tate, hater love Tate. I still haven't gotten through with Tate's George Janko interview, but Tate said it probably best. Maybe we could clip that out as well as Tate. And by the way, I want to bring up our sponsor really quick, as we'll be doing sponsors thing is Manect. Tate's on Manect. I'm on Manect. PBD, who joined, is on Manect. I think they all said it right, dude. If it wasn't for Elon, I wouldn't even feel you. By the way, shout out Sunday night, you doing this. My older brother, who's not alive anymore, Jay, Mr. Jason Cunningham, who was why I started really branding, want to do a podcast for this. And I know he was big into Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, all that. So it's kind of surreal that we're talking about this now. And, I think it's freedom's last stand right here. I think right now there can be more voices like us. Andrew Tate said it best. He's like, they don't really care you can say whatever you have when you have a little audience. So right now we can. This obviously, but dude, I think it's like, I don't really watch much Alex Jones stuff. I didn't know. I was just actually asked someone on the elevator up here to the business office. I said, hey, Alex Jones is back on Twitter. And he goes, and this is what was bad. He goes, the Sandy Hook guy. And I was like, oh man, I just wanted, I like to, as a marketing guy, I like to see what people know if they know of them. So, but this is a chance to get him voice back and to move past that. There was another Jason guy, Jason Calcanis, who came on midway through. I know that guy pretty well. And he came on and started kind of putting the fire on on Alex Jones. And Elon came to his defense. It's like, yeah, we've already answered that. We already went through that. And Alex Jones is like, do I have to answer 5,000 times? Man, I've said I've apologized, right? So that sums it up right there.
All right, so let's get right into it. But before we get into it, I want to kind of talk about, Jeff, what was your first, from your memory, right? They ask us what's your first memory as a human being? Right? Do you remember what was your first ever memory as a human being? And like me, it's like in my crib and I'm trying to get something, right? Like that's like my first memory as a human being. So saying something like that, what is your first memory of Alex Jones? What do you remember? Because I believe the reason why I'm asking this is going to presuppose a lot of people's bias, their first memory of Alex Jones. But what is your first memory of Alex Jones?
You and Sean, shout out to Sean, sharing a clip of their Turning the Frogs guy. That is my first thing. Who's this guy talking about that? We're now being here with Jasenia coming to visit it and going to the toy dive at Boxer this morning, learning about hermaphrodites and all that stuff. And frogs actually being gay. That's actually when I was, so that's my first thing. They're turning the frogs gay because of water. That's why we're proud to drink Estancia. Is that how you say it?
I thought it was Essentia.
Essentia, yeah. Shout out to Insta Shava for the case.
So that's when you first heard it. So for me, was I had heard of InfoWars, and then, but it wasn't InfoWars back then. It was something else back then. And the first like thing that I heard was when he was on Joe Rogan's podcast, the second podcast. Was like really when I first started taking into him. So he's podcast number 911 on Joe Rogan's Experience. He's like, we figured everything out this week. Joe Rogan was like, we figured everything out this week to try and get it to 911 for you, Alex. And, oh, thanks, Joe. And then he was on like 400 podcasts later, or 200 podcasts later, something like that. And that second one, excuse me, is when I started listening to everything. And I was like, holy cow, this guy is saying some crazy stuff that is turning out to be true. And that's really when I started to listen to him. I'd seen some of the other like memes with Alex Jones on it, but I did not know it was Alex Jones. I had no idea that's who it was. I thought it was just some different crazy guy. So that is like my first initial reaction, but I want to go back to why Alex Jones was banned. So let me pull this up right now because I think this is important that.
Yeah, by the way, you listen, I think to Alex Jones a lot more extensive. Probably the last time I listened to him extensively was the PBD podcast. My man Patrick and David had him on, right? I actually listened to that one all the way through and kind of feel like I got a good synopsis of what it was, where he is. And it's funny because they talked about too bad we didn't have Rob to get the clip of him saying, "You think you'll ever be back on with Elon?" Right? And we got to play the clip from Patrick coming in, and
we'll play it. We're going to cover some of that stuff, but I want to go back to when Alex Jones was originally banned. Now, all right. So before I do that, what is your general consensus of Alex Jones? Is he a net positive? Is he a net negative? Who is Alex Jones to you?
So it's funny that we say this, and I brought up my brother because Alex Jones reminds me a lot of when Jay would go down some crazy conspiracy theories and be extremely entertaining. And actually, a lot of them come out to be true now. It's funny because someone tweeted out, like, if we were banning all conspiracy theories, we'd ban CNN and MSNBC, and Elon Musk replied to it. Yeah, but it reminds me really of like the talent that Jason had when our older brother, and hearing him and like almost like going down a rabbit hole without even watching all the YouTube videos. Like he'll just take you down all those and and really educate on that. So that's my consensus of it. Like he's the guy who'll take you down a few rabbit holes, and some might be true, some might not be, you know?
So my consensus of Alex Jones is this. Very smart guy, but doesn't acknowledge the fact that he is smart. A very flawed gentleman, and he would say this the same as well, meaning he probably drinks a little bit too much or eats a little bit too much or sometimes goes a little bit too crazy. But very passionate gentleman. He's very, very passionate about what he believes in.
Which is what I'm addicted to because of his passion. When he was thanking Elon, he's like, "Well, Elon, thank you so much, man, for pretty much saving humanity. I mean, Elon, you're the real hero here." And he was just doing it. He, as everybody, and I don't know what the word is, like praises, brown noses, boot licks, whatever you want to say, you know, Elon and all this stuff too. He does it in the most entertaining way, you know, like it's funny because Elon's the top G, man. Even
not kissing your ass here, but this is the thing. What resonated with me with Alex Jones was his passion. And this is what has always resonated with me, no matter what anybody is saying. When they're speaking something, even if I disagree with it, if the passion behind it is so strong, it makes me go, I should explore this. And Alex Jones has been always very good at that with his passion. And a little bit of it is marketing, right? He knows how to market. He knows how to get eyeballs. He knows how to get attention.
Story.
He knows how to play a character, but he leans into it. Like he leans into the extreme, you know, like wherever, like if you and I are ever getting upset, or like animated, we know that there's a sixth gear that we could go into, but like we know, you know what, we're gonna stay at fourth or fifth.
Right.
He knows his best for marketing is to go into that sixth gear.
Which makes me think sometimes, should we go in a sixth gear? Should we start talking about,
Really, honestly, we should.
That's me putting the governor saying, it's funny. I just shared a post on me on Instagram of they cut me on a podcast. It was on Up Level podcast interview. And I said, the Nelk boys had Trump on. And I said, and then I'll say it. And then they cut it because I couldn't say, because they didn't want their thing to about, and we're on X Live, right? Under Josh Lewis Growth. This is actually
we're on X Live, we're on YouTube, we're on everything.
Right. So, well, either way, I think you can say it now, but you couldn't say it before about the election possibly being thwarted. And that's why they cut it, because of it. So listen, Alex pushes the limit. He's entertaining. He's almost guilty pleasure entertaining.
Why do you think they're allowing us to talk about like maybe an election fraud now?
Elon, because Elon bought Twitter, and dude, it's the whole thing. They don't want to lose it because everybody would go there. They lose me. Elon, and I'm not. This is me bootlicking on it. Elon saved the day. Elon's the hero. To quote Alex Jones, Christ says you know them by their fruits, and the fruits of Elon have been really good. Like the stuff, how Alex Jones says it, it's ingeniously entertaining. Like he speaks him, Andrew Tate, even Vivek, man. I mean, Vivek was very entertaining, taking a leak on there, which is what happens. But no, here's the biggest thing I want to say about Alex Jones. Alex Jones is a voice, okay? And I don't think any voice should be silenced. I don't know enough about the Sandy Hook situation. We're going to find out why he got banned in a little bit. But I will say this. In life, right, all the time, though, what makes America America is freedom. And Patrick came on and was just like, Elon, thank you so much for preserving the freedom for America. And as I wear for the people on Twitter Spaces listening here, because I'm on Twitter Live, we're going to go Twitter Live at 8:00 every night, even tomorrow. I'm wearing my American flag shirt because I feel like we got, what do you got, tinfoil hat?
Yeah, I don't mean to dig in too much of this, but I think we gotta.
Did Alex Jones wear a tinfoil hat on one of his podcasts?
Of course he did.
Oh, so what's behind all that? So those listening on Twitter Spaces, Josh Lewis Growth, you can go over to Josh Lewis Growth and watch. He's now put on a tinfoil hat.
So one of the reasons why I think that they are allowing people to speak about election fraud is because they are foreseeing something to happen in this election, and now they're going to be able to do different things with that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Meaning, if Trump were to win, or if somebody were to win that is anti-establishment, they could have everybody talk about election fraud, because you can't censor that anymore if they want to get those people out.
Right. Yeah. So, no, that's actually a good point. I keep saying, we won't get to 2024 election just because it's almost like me picking the team I don't want to win. I want us to get to a fair, nice election 2024. I want to see a new CEO out office, whether it be Vivek, Trump, even my man, Robert F. Kennedy. I all believe them have more of America, the best America generation. Everybody else, I don't like anybody there. And, I'm not eligible to run this time around, but maybe 2028, man. I had a girl at dinner at the Siete down here in Miami tell me, you should be mayor or governor first. And I, dude, you tell me that, man, it fuels up me to be like, what is it going to take for me to actually, and by the way, if I do ever run for president, Josh, I will do it the right way. I'll do it where I'm doing it at like the Vivek level. I'll fund it myself and I'll do it that way. I was telling it to Dad today as well.
Well, let me say this real quick. When we went on to my bachelor party and we had our core group of close friends, let me explain to you guys a little bit how much of a marketer Jeff is. So Jeff took this chance to, it's my bachelor party. It's not just Jeff, but in Jeff's defense as well. Basically, all the friends that we haven't caught up with in a long time just started asking Jeff about everything that he wanted to do. And for like the first day and a half, the whole thing was about Jeff. What is Jeff going to do? What's he doing with his business? Is he really going to run for president? How is he going to run for president and everything? And I don't know if you remember, but we sat down for sushi and I didn't even want sushi because I just don't. I'm not like I have to be in the mood for sushi.
Yeah.
And we sat down for sushi, and like they started going in, and I literally went, "Oh my god, stop!" And everybody got quiet, and I was like, "Listen, it's been a day and a half. You guys have gone after Jeff about everything that you wanted to go after him about." I'm like, I'm going to be a little selfish here. I don't want to talk about all of this during my bachelor party. I want to enjoy each other's company, and I want to make sure that we are enjoying each other. And yeah, we can make fun of each other. That's part of us being friends. But like, why does this all have to be about like what Jeff can do or what he can't do? And to the acknowledgement of all my friends there, they stopped and they were very quiet, and they kind of like dissipated, and we just started playing GoldenEye for the rest of the time and making fun of each other that way. But having said that, I do remember the conversation of one of our friends was saying, if you really want to do this, you need to be a governor first. You need to be a senator first. You need to go into that. And I remember thinking while I was listening to him saying that, I was like, that was true. That used to be true 100%. It used to be true such a long time ago. That's the steps. But it is no longer the steps anymore. Right now, it is like if you are, and I think it's because social media and the power of social media has changed a lot of things. If you are influential and if you have the power to influence other people at a high scale, people see you as a movable person, meaning I can put you into a position that will move other things. So even if you were never a mayor or a governor or a congressperson, now I see you as somebody who's movable, and I could put you into an elective, period. But anyway, having said all that, I want to get into the reason why Alex Jones was first banned. So I'm bringing up an article from over 5 years ago. So this article is back from September 16th, 2018.
Wow, that's when he got banned?
Yes. So Twitter bans Alex Jones and InfoWars, cites abusive behavior. So listen to how cryptic this is. So updated at 6:29 p.m. Eastern, Twitter on Thursday said that it has permanently suspended conspiracy theorist Alex Jones and his InfoWars outlet, citing new reports of tweets and videos posted yesterday that violate our abusive behavior policy. Last month, YouTube, Apple, Facebook, and Spotify banned Jones's main platforms over concerns about his content. So the previous month prior to that, YouTube, Apple, Facebook, Spotify, holding hands together, said, no more. But Twitter only suspended some of his privileges, a move that drew criticism. So, like, almost kudos to Twitter. On Wednesday, Florida Senator Marco Rubio tussled with Jones after Jones confronted and touched him outside a Senate Intelligence Committee hearing. At a House Energy and Commerce Committee hearing, Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey faced questions and criticism from Republicans that big tech companies suppress conservatives online, which we found out to be true. We found out to be true through the Twitter files, right? Dorsey denied that Twitter is politically sensitive. He tweeted, I want to start by making something clear. We don't consider political viewpoints, perspectives, or party affiliation in any of our policies or enforcement decisions, period. Impartially is our guiding principle.
Wow.
It's a weird thing. I actually think that Jack Dorsey actually believed that. I think he did.
Do you think he knew they were censoring Biden stuff?
Not to the way that at this point, I don't think he understood the ramifications of what was happening. Now, I could be wrong. He could be completely like shaking hands with the devil and was like, yeah, 100%. But from what I've seen of Jack Dorsey, he seemed like a hippie guy who's for free speech. And he was like, we're not going to do any of that. People should listen to how they speak. Now, I don't know if that's for certain. That's just my guess, my observation. But on Thursday, Twitter announced in a tweet, today we permanently suspended @real Alex Jones and InfoWars from Twitter and Periscope. We took this action based on new reports of tweets and videos posted yesterday that violate our abusive behavior policy, in addition to the accounts past violations. Twitter linked to its page detailing its policy on abusive behavior. That policy states, in part, you may not engage in the targeted harassment of someone or incite other people to do so. We consider abusive behavior an attempt to harass, intimidate, or silence someone else's voice. After the ban was announced, Jones said in a video posted on the InfoWars website, I was taken down, not because we lied, but because we tell the truth, and because we were popular, and because we dared to go to the committee hearing and stand up to Rubio and stand up to the lies of the mainstream media and speak the truth. This is the deep state striking back and pressuring these tech firms to censor, Jones added. So in August, Dorsey explained why Twitter had not banned Jones then. He hasn't violated the rules. We'll enforce if he does, Dorsey tweeted. And in apparent reference to other tech companies that had banned Jones, he said that Twitter would not succumb and simply react to outside pressure. Dorsey added, we're going to hold Jones to the same standard we hold to every account, not taking one-off actions to make us feel good in the short term and adding fuel to the new conspiracy theories. The idea that Jones shares are particularly, that's a word I do not know, noxious. The idea that Sandy Hook massacre of school children was a hoax, the idea that 9/11 was an inside job, and other things. This is from NPR. Excuse me. Jones is facing defamation lawsuits, most centering on comments about school shootings. After the earlier ban, Jones said that America has been sold out, and the InfoWars Twitter feed declared that the moves against his company were communist-style censorship. So this was the beginning of the ban of Alex Jones. Excuse me, I need a cough mic eventually. I'm sorry, guys. So, listen, I will say this. After reading all that, you got to give credit to Jack Dorsey, being in the sense that he was like, no, we're not going to succumb to any other place, any other social media outlet. But they still went ahead.
Alex Jones on is he on like everything else or just Twitter now? Because that's the only one.
So no, he's only on Twitter right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So let's go a little bit into the Twitter Spaces. I want to talk about that. So having said all of that, did you listen to the X Space or Twitter
I did.
Space?
I listened. Shout out to my man Mario, which me and Mario go way back from Clubhouse. We did Instagram Live, and now he's he's doing exactly what I knew Mario was totally capable of. He's a connector. He's putting people together, and I'm proud of Mario because I know Mario pretty well. Mario did a tweet storm. Mario Nawfal, if you're not following him, he does some of the best unbiased town halls. Thank you, Alex, for coming on. This is gonna be a very we ask the tough questions here, and the first tough question we're gonna ask is how's it back to be on the platform? It's like, come on, that's a softball question. But with that said, yes, I listened to tweets, or I listened to most of it while I was writing up a consulting email for one of my 50K clients. Yes, I listened to some of it. By the way, I love Twitter Spaces. I'm on Twitter Spaces right now, or X Spaces.
So going into a little bit about that, I don't want. We're going to get this drama out of the way. So, do you know who Laura Loomer is?
She was on the space.
She was. So, before I get into this, I'm going to say there is and by the way, I mean this out of love. This is a way to say this out of love. There is a certain way that people tend to approach certain things, and I don't think it realizes how much it hurts them, even though that they may be right. So what I'm going to explain that is let's say you get acknowledgement from a big party, from an Elon Musk, from an Andrew Tate, from a Patrick Bet-David, from whoever it is, an Ed Milet, a Grant Cardone, whatever it is. These big, right, these big people in these spaces, what people tend to do is they tend to like overextend on their welcome. So I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you and I were to go to somebody's house, and the party was from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. And now it's 1 o'clock in the middle of the night. And we're overstaying our welcome. If we're overstaying our welcome, shame on us.
Like my 25th birthday party or whatever, when we had to kick everybody out.
Right. So shame on, well, I mean, yeah, that is what it is. So what has happened is I think a lot on X is what I'm seeing is some people are getting certain amount of accolades and then they overstand their welcome. They almost act entitled. Not saying this is the case with Laura Loomer, but I just want to make that observation because Mario invited her to the chat. So then if you go on Laura's space, so why ask somebody to be on a panel and then not let them speak? This is very weird behavior. He asked me to speak on the panel before he even announced it. So why silence me? Something is very off about many of these spaces and the people who host them. Very controlled. And then this is a message from Mario. And she says, yes, please, thank you. And then these are people saying, hey, you were totally snubbed. I was on the space the whole time. I confirmed Laura was looked over every time she tried to speak. The crowds and scenes got to ask their questions, but Laura was unable to speak. It was very disappointing. Was Mario shielding Elon? So let's see. This was the question. Let's see.
Yeah. So by the way, I know who she is. Shout out to Laura Luma. We'll bring her on here. We'll give her some airtime. But the one thing I want to say is, dude, you remember I was on Clubhouse for like a better part of my life. Remember that?
Right, correct.
Dude, this is what we had to deal with all the time. I don't get to speak. People silence me. And then if they're a woman, oh my God, it's a woman. If there were like, if black, oh my God, it's because I'm black. They're not letting people. And that's literally what was going on in Clubhouse. It got pretty.
So listen, I'll say this: Mario's got a hard thing to manage because listen, he was the host of that, except when he wasn't even the host anymore when Elon came on. Elon was the host. That's the true measurement of leadership. Like when Elon comes on, listen, Mario, it might have been your room, but it was no longer your room anymore. Everybody was asking Elon questions.
Mario, I got to ask Elon Musk a question on the space when Elon was on his jet. Everybody's in the room. That was actually, even Grant was on there with Elon at the time. They were all in the room. I think even Patrick came on. This was the first space. And Mario, I remember him asking, hey, Elon, can I ask a selfish question, please? Because Mario has that way. And he goes, yeah, go ahead, Mario. Could you give me a follow so I can shoot your DM, let you know another space on this place? And then you hear Erland, thank you so much. And here we go. So I remember thinking, good.
So listen, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but so everyone can get their hopes up that they want about free speech in an election year. But if X doesn't have ad revenue, they won't be able to survive as a company and will be forced to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. She's using a good marketing campaign in the first sentence, right? Like, oh my God, fear catches people's attention. I was invited to the panel today for Mario Noir Falls space, but he deliberately kept silencing me when I asked to speak, despite asking me to be on the panel. It's obvious he won't allow me to speak or even ask Elon Musk the question I wanted to ask. Everyone saw it happen 5 times. It wasn't just a glitch. It was deliberate. So I'll ask my question here, and maybe Elon will answer, since I was dropped 5 times every time I raised my hand in the space I was asked to speak in. So listen, normally I don't, by the way, normally I don't condone this type of behavior. However, her question that she asks is actually a really good question. That's why I want to bring this to light. So shout out to Laura Loomer, even though I don't agree with the way you approach this scenario. This is the question that she asked. Yeah, Elon Musk. If the financial health of X continues to decline due to advertisers dropping X, and if X is forced to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in the next 3 to 5 months, as they are on track to do with continued financial decline, who will control X, and will the same free speech policies apply into the 2024 election? What happens to X's free speech policy if X is made to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy? Do you plan on filing for bankruptcy? And if so, How will you safeguard free speech on X? Thanks for not allowing me to speak, Mario Alpha. As your engagement farmed my 700,000 followers. Very dishonest of you. Don't ask me to join any more of your spaces ever again, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Mario, I'm saying this right now. I'll join your spaces, man. I remember from back in the day.
So
I don't get hurt if I don't get to speak. People would do that to me all the time.
So I would say this: it's a fear-oriented question, which is a smart way for marketing, but also at the same time, it's kind of a diss to Elon Musk, right? Hey, listen, what happens if you file for bankruptcy?
Yeah, I don't like that at all. Like,
it is a fair question. Saying, hold on a second, there's a little bit of a concern going on, and I think it could be worded a little bit better. There's a little bit of concern. So what we have going on right now with the ads on X, a lot of companies are deciding to pull their ads from X. So that means your financial revenue is no longer coming in. So what can we do as people who are free speech absolutists? What can we do to help so X doesn't have to file bankruptcy? And furthermore, if they did file bankruptcy, what does that mean for us on this public square platform? And if you were to ask that question that way, you would, I think, get a more positive answer, because remember, it's not just what you ask, it's how you ask it. And B, you'd also be looked at as an ally instead of an enemy. And when people are looked at like as enemies, even though you might be asking a legitimate question, it's hard. It's hard for people to take you seriously. All right, so let's get into
let's play. You want to play some clips? By the way, we got a caller in here, a Max. I know you don't like being thrown off, but we have somebody else we can take later on.
What do you mean by take?
Like, we can take somebody else off the X spaces because we're in the town hall. He raised his hands. They're listening. By the way, we're holding together a pretty good show. I'm going to be going live every night on X. I actually went off on this at 8:00 every night. He's doing an imply. Max is laughing. All right. Well, Max, we'll get to you in a second, so hang tight. All right, Josh. So why don't we play a few clips from it? Do you want me to play them or you want me to play them?
Do you have anything pulled up?
I do not have anything pulled up, but we need a Rob. Maybe Max will be our Rob one day. You know, that's how you get it. That's how it all starts. I'm resharing the video so people can see. Real Alex Jones. What's Alex Jones's Twitter?
At Real Alex Jones.
Yeah, so here, let me pull some up. I'll pull some up and play it here. Real Alex Jones. Is he actually unbanned on here? I can't find him.
Yeah, there's no name.
So we're gonna play this.
Got one hooked up, dude. By the way, there's another guy on Twitter Spaces, and he speaks.
So, here was a crazy thing. As I started listening to this, and I was just listening to Alex Jones, and all of a sudden Elon jumps in. And Elon jumps in, and then what he does is he says, "Hey, Alex, listen, you and I don't know each other, so I want to give you this time to explain to me what happened with Sandy Hook." Right?
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, that's about 40 minutes in.
Okay. Do you want me to pull it up, or you got it?
I don't have that part.
All
but
right.
then I'm explaining, maybe I should go to that part, but what happened is then Alex explains the whole entire thing, which I've heard him explain a million different times. Basically, TLDR. Alex Jones reported on a story that somebody else gave him, and it was false. What are you sharing? Are you sharing anything?
40 minutes in.
That's a guess. I don't know if it is.
So I guess my question would be,
the Krasensteins.
what are your thoughts about the
They're by their voice.
community notes? Obviously, that's going to help fact checking. Have you played around?
So keep going.
How that works?
A little bit further.
At least stand down with attack helicopters.
Keep going.
Back there. Suddenly it becomes a big story again.
All right.
People.
So go back probably like 3-4 minutes.
What's up?
Go back like 3 or 4 minutes.
Those anti-war voices, given everything that's happening with
Not in there. So where it says 15, like scroll 15 forward,
now.
15 seconds. Just click on that a bunch of times until you see Elon come in.
Well, Elon's right here. Oh no, you're right.
That's
the
not
picture.
Elon. That's the parody of Elon.
Yeah, but
business. I'm going to come in, bring people in.
right
They're
here.
going to do what I tell them. No, Obama signed the
Is, we look
Israel stood down.
We should have
There's
queued
some
this up
larger
better.
global destabilization going on. I mean, a few years community college. I started out on Access TV 29 years ago.
Yep, it's like a minute before that.
Professionally trained. Now, and I believe their children die
with that situation. I would like to actually hear what did you say
That's
that
it right there.
situation.
They're surrounded, and they're not going to surrender.
Don't
Right.
know really know you, and you don't know me, but
Oh,
one of the questions I really have to just get out of the way, and you've probably talked about this already before, is the whole Sandy Hook thing, and because it's not like, obviously, if somebody's sort of denying or that murders of children, that's not cool at all. And so just what exactly did you say, and what is going on with that situation? I would like to actually hear what did you say, and yeah.
Well, Elon, thank you for allowing me back into the public square so that I can actually tell the world what really happened. So, and I hope this is the last time. I'm happy to do
Probably not the last time, but still.
I love Elon's laugh.
Okay. I don't know how much. Would you like the short answer or the medium answer or the long
I think at least the medium answer. Look, I guess people just want to know, like, obviously it would be like heartless and cruel to deny a school shooting of children, or to attack the parents or anyone who is involved. It seems that would be, just incredibly mean and cruel, frankly. So it's sort of that's I think what a lot of people are upset about, or at least they think that is the reason to be upset about. And if that were true, I think we would rightly be upset with you.
Yeah, yes, sir. Well, please let me then just tell you what really happened, okay? And if you want me to send you a dossier with clips and videos and articles,
I mean, post it to your account,
Yes, sir, I will do that. So let me tell you what happened. I'm a guy that didn't go to college. I mean, a few years of community college. I started out on Access TV 29 years ago. I was not professionally trained, and by 2016, I had 30 million viewers and listeners today. Conservatively, I was the biggest show, as big as Rogan is now or bigger, and I had a very small operation and did not even understand how powerful I was. And so, when that event, I just call it the school
Do you
shooting,
believe him, by the way? You think that was true?
happened 11 years ago. The internet exploded. The top story.
Probably going way too fast to even realize what was going around him.
With all these professors and former school safety people and all of them saying they believed it was a drill. And I simply covered them covering that. What was entered in court against me in both cases where I was found guilty by judges, kind of like in New York, there's a judge in Trump's case, not even a jury, in his real estate case. And then years later, after Trump got elected and after I was deplatformed, it made me bigger. And so suddenly I would wake up and there would be sometimes 100 articles or more a day, every major news channel saying that I was currently saying nobody died, currently sending people to their houses, currently peeing on graves. I didn't even know these people's names. I only said one of their names ever. Now, I believe their children died, and I understand all that.
Okay.
But I'm saying, imagine, I was not deplatformed. No mention of the school shooting in Connecticut for
Crazy happened in Connecticut.
6-7 years.
Wow.
Then they go back to my timeline, and it turns out it was a big New York PR firm, Democratic Party. They dredge it up. They run hundreds of articles, sometimes a day, but a week for over a year. Suddenly it becomes a big story again.
What's the PR firm?
People, pardon me?
Which propaganda firm was this? PR is public relations is a propaganda word for propaganda. So I think we should call PR firms propaganda firms, because that is in fact what they do.
All right, should we keep playing that or no? You want to sum it up or?
Yeah. So,
because I can't do it.
in case you guys don't know,
That's where I stand on that. Is Jack still there?
He is. And we also have Elon on here. He did say that
That's
connection
the first time that
linked
Elon
to your
came on.
account. The reason
So basically the TLDR, the too long didn't read, was basically Alex Jones was given a report saying, hey, this was not an actual school shooting. What it was it was actually a test case and nobody really died. And these are crisis actors. And Alex Jones is like, hey, we got this report in and this is crazy. And basically he started to report on it. He didn't call for any hate. He didn't call for anybody pissing on their graves. He didn't call for anybody going out and going on, knocking on their doors or whatever it is. The challenge is people got very emotionally involved and they started doing these things on Alex Jones' behalf. And not even on Alex Jones' behalf, because I remember hearing all that stuff because we were in Connecticut. And I remember hearing like, hey, that wasn't true. And I was like, I know where Sandy Hook is. It's like 45 minutes from me. Let me go drive down there and find out what happens. Because I was hearing other people, not like Alex Jones, saying, hey, maybe that's not true, you know. And then some people were saying, yeah, it is true. It was one of the most horrible things ever. So anyway, he reported on a report that somebody gave him, and then they just tanked him. But there's a lot of great little clips from this whole entire speech. But that initial one, that was the first time that Elon and Alex actually had a conversation. So that's why I thought it was interesting that we play it.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. These clips that they put out together are actually pretty good. Andrew, I would never kill myself. They back in the Judgment Star.
Hey, who do you think who controls the world? Who do you think the Matrix is? And I use the Matrix as a very simple way to explain that they purport a false version of reality that everyone buys into to keep your mind occupied.
I mean,
They can extract your body,
I've heard
etc. Because these young men are far less likely to blindly comply, and it's extremely important that they don't psyop the next generation of young masculine youth.
And that's why the system was scared of you, Andrew, because you were doing an extreme version of it to shock them out of it, to show them how to have a destiny, how to have desire, how to want to be into the future. And that's the same thing in a different way.
You're right. We still control the world, and it's down to what we will accept. And it's going to take bravery and love. You need to love the people around you and love the human race and love the place you're from. And I just want to wrap up by saying that I would never kill myself. And if they put me back in that dungeon to starve, I hope you will all do your very best to get me out, because I'm in a very.
We will, Andrew. Love you. Can
I? So that one I didn't play. Where's the one? Let's see. These are all people playing them. There's one with Patrick and David.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Andrew. Go ahead, Andrew, and then we'll go to Dave. Andrew.
What I do believe is black and white is simply, if you read a history book, you'll see the worst things that humanity.
By the way, let's just talk about that. We have Andrew Tate, Elon Musk, Vivek, Alex Jones, which is not even under Alex Jones' account. It's under a guy Chase because he wasn't able to get in because he was so banned or wasn't updated, right?
Ever done it been done with good and like what intentions. That's what's so bad about.
But there was a part actually.
Don't forget about Dave Smith. You got to put.
Go ahead, Andrew, and then we'll go to Dave. Andrew.
What I do?
Same clip. Maybe it was.
If you try to unpack that and say, where does that pessimism come from? And I think like these are like, you know, good people. Like they have good intentions. I think they think about things. And come from is believing that there are too many humans on the planet. This is false. Earth can easily sustain far more than the current population. But they've been told this thing and they've believed it, and it is false.
I'm going to sign out.
I'm very pro environment, obviously.
Bye, Andrew.
I might have done more.
They're cutting off Elon. Andrew Tate's like, I'm out. I already know this, and he's like, bye, Andrew.
More, you know, for sustainable energy than maybe.
By the way, I love this. X Spaces is the best. I'm a huge fan of this platform all the time, anytime. I'm gonna do it daily. I'm gonna grow on here.
Any single human. So I would consider myself an environmentalist, but I also believe in physics and reality and not sort of being alarmist about things. Something
you said was really smart, and I've seen the equations. I'm not a mathematician or rocket scientist like you.
He's funny.
But we need the fossil fuels to get to the new technologies and transfer over. You can't cut them all off and then not have it. They're blowing up the bridge that gets them there.
Gentlemen, what I would like to say, my final point, I would like to say, I often get asked by people who follow me, they say, who do you think who controls the world? Who do you think the Matrix is? And I use the Matrix as a very simple way to explain that they purport a false version of reality that everyone buys into to keep your mind occupied so they can extract your body heat from you for the soulless machines, which are essentially the globalists we're talking about. And I try and say that I still believe that we run the world. There's a lot more of us than them. We still control the world. It's just down to what we will accept and what will allow them to do to us. And that's why bravery is so essential and so important. And I know I can come across as brash with my message.
No, you're not. Stop
telling
giving up
16-year-olds, when I'm telling 16-year-olds to go and get rich and buy a fast car and train hard and go to the gym, etc., because these young men are far less likely to blindly comply. And it's extremely important that they don't psyop the next generation of young masculine youth.
And that's why the system was scared of you, Andrew, because you were doing an extreme version of it to shock them out of it, to show them how to have a destiny, how to have desire, how to want to be into the future. And that's the same thing in a different way.
You're right. We still control the world, and it's down to what we will accept. And it's going to take bravery and love. You need to love the people around you and love the human race and love the place you're from. And I just.
Well, I don't want to go. I want to get to.
I'm gonna share.
I want to share PBD coming in at the end.
Yeah, I want to share that as well. But I also want to share a couple other things. So this was kind of a fun part to listen to.
Oh, we should have the guy who came in and raised his hand. He left after.
Like something that is really important is like you just literally have to have kids, or there's no next generation. Alex, do you have kids?
Yes, I do. I'm not as prolific as you, but I wish I was. But the best thing in my life, I have 4.
Okay, great. And Andrew?
I do have a few. I won't let you down, Elon. I'm coming to take over your title. I'm coming to take over. I'm doing my best. You know, I got to use my good looks for something.
Well, I think we ought to encourage people to have kids.
And this is the bottom line argument. This is what is so important. We just talked about how the globalists are ultimately selfish and only care
Well, look at most of the globalists don't have children.
Of course, because they're selfish.
I think like something that is really important is like you just literally.
It's just funny listening to these guys talking about the competition of how they have kids, but it was very mutual respect.
Which is what PBD says, by the way. You know, go out there and multiply. You know.
And then we got to play this clip. If you don't want to, we'll play the PBD clip after this. But our boy Vivek, pissing in the wind.
I heard that.
We got to play this.
Musk is promoting an optimistic, pro-human future that the science and evidence shows is real and that we need.
Gentlemen, I have to
go.
go.
Yeah, I just wanted to sort of exactly.
Is that Andrew Tate keeping trying to go?
Humans, and I mean all humans. Humans in America, humans in
somebody's got their thing open
and everywhere else.
Their phone open in the bathrooms.
Yeah, that's Vivek. Vivek, that's your phone, Vivek. I'm not able to mute you. Vivek.
He mutes himself.
Go ahead, Elon.
Sorry about that.
So, well, I hope you feel better.
I feel great. Thank you. Sorry about that, guys.
So Musk is promoting an optimistic.
That's funny, dude. Elon likes Vivek too.
I give Vivek credit for the way he handled that. And he was like, I do feel better. Sorry about that.
Vivek reminds me of someone, dude. He reminds me of like Dan or somebody like that. Like, you know, like one of the people we'd hang out with.
Yeah. Tate reminds me of that as well.
Yeah. Oh no, I know, dude. That's why I think they're so popular. Which we should have probably put all those guys on social media, you know, back when we were.
So yeah, do you want to play PBD? What PBD?
Yeah, he's all the way at the end. He just comes in at the end and he just kind of basically gives Elon a lot of credit. I don't know if they have it in here.
They do. That's right here. All right. Hit play. Hold on a second.
They're going to talk about this tomorrow on the PBD podcast. What episode number is this? Or did we not count the emergency episode?
When Professor Galloway said Elon is full of it, he's not going to buy it, he's toying with all of you. And then Elon bought the company, whatever the price of the company was. Some said it was 50% more. It was a $20 billion company, $30 billion company. He paid the entire number. He didn't have to do this. If that purchase wasn't to be made, think about where America would be today. I want everybody to think about that part. It's been 13 months since then. It's pissed a lot of people off. The fact that, Elon, I applaud you for standing up to folks who you're saying what you're saying to advertisers, where what do you have to do? Be a slave to them? They have to constantly put that fear in you. We applaud you. You got a lot of people backing you up. Alex, it's great to have you back on. Pushing the envelope. You could be wrong. Everybody could be wrong. It's not like all of us are always right. We have the ability to be wrong. And when we are, and people can challenge us and move on, and, you know, then they can make a decision. Either, look, I don't like Alex, or I like Alex. Great, no problem. That's the freedom of, you know, you have to pick and choose to like somebody's views or not. But the biggest factor here is somebody had the courage to use their resources to buy a platform like this, to give everybody else the freedom to debate, to argue, to give their thoughts, to give their opinions. And then at the same time, if you're wrong, you admit to it. If you're not, you stick to your guns. But best part on what's going on to the world right now is we are finding each other. The fighters are finding each other. And that has got to be a very scary thing to people who oppose the concept of freedom of speech. So I have no question for Alex. I have no questions for Elon. I just wanted to jump in and applaud everybody, even those who debate, even those who agree, even those who disagree. Future looks bright. The right people are finding each other. And I applaud all of you. That's all I wanted to say. So,
Patrick, beautifully said, brother.
So it's funny because the reason why I said that, and by the way, we'll tweet all this out on. I'm live on Twitter, man, X Spaces. It's gonna take a bit. X Spaces right now. Shout out to everybody who came in and joined. I'm gonna be going live every night at 8. If you want to catch me, I'll be doing a topic. It'll probably be like a little 15-minute tech. I will live stream us here. We probably will. Do you want to, going forward on the J&J podcast, so we get all set up, do you want to take people in from this or no? Or do you think that would be weird?
Well, we're already live on X anyway.
Right, but like to get live callers. Like I'm big on like live callers, people coming in, them saying something, you know.
How many podcasts you know have live callers?
PBD has that option. If you buy like the biggest thing, you're supposedly able to call in if you buy the biggest badge.
Right. So when's the last time you've seen them do that?
Yeah, never. But the funny thing is, and I get it, I get control and run in a certain way. So, and I'm very random. So I know this is why I yield to you. However, I will say, did you see the part where Mario asked, hey, Patrick, you have 2.1 million followers. What's it to bring you over to X? And Patrick said, yeah, me and Elon haven't had that discussion yet, you know?
About what?
About just bringing the Soul thing over just to X.
The Soul thing? What are you talking
The
about?
Soul PBD podcast over to X.
Oh, just running it on X?
Right, like what Tucker does.
Right. Well, he can simulcast it. I think that would be a good idea.
He said, well, we're going to, because Elon's in the room. He's like, well, we're going to start simulcasting on X. I'm sure. It was like, we got to start. By the way, do you know everybody in the title? Do you know who, do you know who Jason Calcanis is?
Not the name. If I saw the face, I might know.
So, well, I don't know. He kind of reminds me of the Steve Gendro.
Okay.
So he's very engineer, very smart guy, very that, but he's also against a lot of the marketers, right? Does not like marketers, the angel investor, very kind of engineer, extremely smart guy. I believe he knows Elon pretty well. He's an angel investor, everything. But I knew him about in Clubhouse. And yeah, he definitely made his name known on Clubhouse a lot. So it's just interesting seeing him in the space, you know?
Yeah, I'm looking him up. I have no idea who he is.
Yeah, he likes to stir a little trouble. I think he just has a little money and stays in some time. So he asked Alex Jones a question about Sandy Hook, and he's like, "Man, I got to answer this question again." It was pretty interesting. So,
well, listen, I think it's a good time to wrap it up. We've been going on for an hour. Listen, this is what I think. I think the return of freedom of speech. By the way, I'm going to say this in a different way. Let's say Hillary Clinton was banned. She should actually have a free speech platform. Let's say Gavin Newsom was banned. These people should actually have a platform where they can speak. Let the people decide who they like,
who they want to listen to,
or who they want to listen to. I think that's one of the biggest fears of what was happening with a lot of these different social media companies is people were deciding that the people that they wanted to listen to were the people like the Joe Rogans, the Alex Jones, the people who were unconventional.
Andrew Tate.
Right. And the people that were in the spotlight, the Anderson Coopers, the Brian Stelters, the people on MSNBC were like, where's our spotlight going? And that the only way that they figured out the way they could compete with that is by turning off the spotlight of other people so that they could win. I think my belief is turn the spotlight on everybody and let the market decide who's good, who's bad, who do they trust, who do they not trust, and let's just take it from there and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, what's the tagline for the J&J podcast?
I don't know. What's the tagline for the Joe Rogan podcast?
I don't know. Well, yeah, you're right. I don't know. That's a good point. I guess we don't need one. I'm as a marketing thing, so people know what to expect when they come here. I feel like it is. You know what I mean? That's my point, you know?
Yeah, I mean, so we talk about business, current events, and media.
Okay, yeah, no, I was just thinking about that. By the way, would it be out of the ordinary to think that if Tucker, let's say after Trump and everything, in 2032 runs for president, would that be out of the ordinary if that happened?
I mean, I guess right now, I personally don't see that's something that he would ever want to do just by watching him. But
if he did do that, would he have a chance to win without running for governor or mayor?
Oh, yeah, he would definitely have a chance.
Right. And all he did was media.
Correct. Yes.
So my whole point of that is this is the way I plan to do it. I hope I don't ever have to run, but as I go out here, as I get educated with issues, as I become a better leader, as I listen more, as we take in more people in the J&J podcast, if it ever comes that moment, there'll be all these back episodes where we go for that. When I was little, and by the way, the people at dinner were like, that's an ego thing to want to be president. What that does to me, I understand it's an ego thing. Like
100% it is. 100%. To say that I am the leader, I believe that I could solve all the country's problems. Me, myself, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Vivek Ramaswamy, Jeff Cunningham, Josh Lewis. That is 100% an ego thing. It always is. It's the most egotistical statement you can make in America. 100%.
So yeah. So, but someone's going to do the job.
Someone has to do the job. So what you have to realize is even if it is an extreme egocentric statement, you have to be as humble to realize that it's not just me that is going to be able to build these people. I'm just going to shine the vision, and I'm going to collect a bunch of people that are going to help run the country in the best way.
Which I heard.
I might have the title, but I'm just here to be a unifier. That's it.
I heard RFK say at the town hall with Patrick David. I've heard Vivek say that too. I've heard Trump say that.
Yeah, and 100%. But there's still you still have an ego behind it. I'm not saying it's wrong. I think it's just you have to if you're going to say that, if you're going to make the declaration of I believe that I can change the country around. I mean, you either have an extreme amount of confidence or you have a high ego. And I think you have to have a little bit of both. I have this belief that in order for you to be extremely successful in life, you have to have a little bit of arrogance and a little bit of ignorance. Meaning your arrogance is saying, yeah, I could do it. And ignorance is saying you have no idea what the fuck you're even into. But that's what you're going.
There's a quote I always like, and it's never underestimate someone who overestimates themselves.
Sure.
But I believe dude, my whole life has been proven like that. My whole memory thing is couldn't become quarterback. Okay, did it. Lifeguard. Okay, teacher, right? Okay, business owner now. And I think a lot of times what the president is and why I think I love watching Vivek, entrepreneur, running for president. I love that. I think we need more of that. I think the people we need are people who run businesses at a level. If I can exit Change Life Consulting and build up leaders and build up VA firms and do everything that I know that I can, that God's calling me to do, then I believe I earn the title to run because then I've done it, right? I've done it here. So we're watching it. Me just saying I want to run is saying, hey, I want to make a difference in this world as where the president can write an executive order and it makes a difference. That's my point. I think anybody in a space always wants to do that. I think everybody wants to make it, and it might be a significance thing, but I yield to God, and hopefully I don't have to. I love Miami. I don't want to go to Washington D.C.
Well, I will say there's that saying you mentioned, Stan, the people who overestimate themselves, or the people who are underestimated. There's also that saying, I'm not going to say it correct, is that the people who have the arrogance to run the country are the least qualified, and the people who have the confidence not to run the country are the most qualified. Something like that. It's basically saying the people who should be running the country are the people who are not as arrogant as enough, aren't the people who are like being like, I can do this, I'm the one, and I'm gonna do this. They're the ones that are on the sidelines, right? They're the ones that are in. But the people who are putting themselves in front of everybody are maybe not the people who are equipped with the leadership skills to do it the right way. I think, honestly, at this point, it doesn't even matter, because I don't want to say it doesn't even matter. I think we're at a shifting point where it does matter. But for the past 10, 15 years, 20 years of my life, it seemed that no matter what you're doing or who the president is, whether it's Bush, whether it's Clinton, whether it's Obama, whether it's Trump, there are forces that are going around in the background that are just controlling everything they possibly can, whether it's Congress, whether it's Senate, whether it's the handshakes of this person saying, I'm going to get this when I get into president, whatever it is, all those politics. I think what's happening right now is a lot of that stuff is coming to light, and it's scaring the shit out of a lot of normal politicians, because they're saying, man, people used to elect us because they believed in us, and now the lights are shining on us. They don't believe in us anymore.
Yeah, but that's what I think we're seeing with Vivek, with Trump, with myself, even putting myself in the discussion. Okay, we're seeing a new wave of people coming in, and I think everybody's crying for it a while. They want the people who speak the truth. They want the people who just are themselves. They don't want the cookie cutter politician who goes by all the P's and Q's, because those are the people like the Nikki Haley taking donor money, right, to do it all. And like, here's the thing. Andrew Tate, they asked Andrew Tate if he wanted to run for president, right? I don't know if Alex Jones could run for president, right? Both those guys can, I think, right?
I don't think Alex can, but I'm not entirely certain on either of them.
Yeah, Alex Jones, man, I remember watching him, and he was back asking a guy about the pedophile rings and all that way back in. You remember that?
I don't know which time, but I remember.
But he was so young. He's been in this space for a while doing it. As a public access thing, the guy is talented. He's really.
I remember watching a clip of, I forget what happened, but he came out, and it was CNN and MSNBC was there, and was like this whole thing. I wish the video was still up, but they started asking him a question, and he turned it right on them. He said, "How come you guys don't report on the pedophiles?" And dude, like, you looked at the whole entire news anchor's face. I wish I still remember it. It's like they went white. Like, they were like, oh, fuck. Like, we're in way in over our heads. And because this is one thing that Dad used to say, which is true, is people have confidence, and people who have confidence, is the way Alex Jones came out and said it is he could have been the ultimate bluffer, right? There could have been nothing about pedophiles. But the way he said it with such confidence, he scared them into submission and to quietness. And they were like, and they just didn't say anything. And he just kept going. And I was like, whoa, he just changed the whole entire dynamic of that room. I think this is right before he got banned. Some Senate hearing. And he just started like asking them, why don't you guys talk about the pedophiles? And it was very interesting to watch. And I think a lot of the people, and this is one of the things that resonates with Alex Jones as we wrap this up, is that Alex Jones has that passion. Whether you agree with him or you don't agree with him, he has that passion. I think most people want to follow a leader that has passion, that wants to believe in something, that wants to push something forward. That's why, whether people like it or not, Trump resonates with people, because Trump has passion. And so does RFK, so does Vivek. The problem is Joe Biden right now is currently not showing a lot of passion.
So Joe Biden is the most voted president. He had 82 million votes, and people were honking their horns at his rally. By the way, shout out to Andrew Tate with that little thing that you showed where it's like everything's a joke. I don't know if you could show that. It was pretty funny.
It was on Rumble, but yeah, very smart by the Tate brothers doing that. It was pretty funny.
By the way, have you listened to Choose Your Enemies Wisely? There's a thing about selling the vision and stuff. All the time I'm selling the vision. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a visionary. That's why I believe my qualities of everything, and I believe I'm not ready to run right now. But if I ever want to run for any office, mayor, governor, and it's different ones are as I look into it, you need a lot of the skill sets that I possess. I believe my God-given skill sets. As I become a better community can do it. I have passion like television. So like, I believe I can do it. So it doesn't matter what anybody else believes, you know?
Well, that's 100% true. I think what also would be beneficial is you need somebody, and I don't know who it is, but somebody who you respect, who would be able to refine you and really be able to like smooth out the edges. And I'm not saying like you're bad in any way. It's just like, I could say something to you, and because you're so oppositional when it comes to you have a point to prove, you're not going to listen to me. You're going to listen to your family members. You're not going to listen to anybody. You might look at it for a second, but you won't take it's weird. It's like you're so good at proving other people wrong on when they say you can't do something, when they point out something that, hey, maybe you should change that. Instead of taking that amount of aggression you take to proving somebody wrong and saying, hey, I need to fix this for myself and fix A, B, and C and do this, it's just channeled into the bore of like how I can prove people wrong and why I should be in this way, I should be in that way, which I mean, I get, trust me, I get it.
But listen, that was the old me, and I understand I still have some of that, and I fight that. I'm very self-aware of that. Like, what's something right now? List it off right now while we're on here, and I'll work on it. Like, I really do want to get better, you know?
The only thing, that I would say right now that, and again, saying this out of like love, is you're very good at passion with your communicating. You're very good at lifting people up when you communicate. Finishing your thoughts is something that I think would be something extremely beneficial to you. I notice a lot, even on this show, you tend to go out into certain tangents and not finish your thoughts. And I've said this to you before many times, and it still hasn't changed. And trust me, I'm working. I say on the things that I say. I'll say I'll say you too as well. I'll say currently at the moment. I say all these grammatical errors that are wrong. However, I feel like when you're starting to say something and you want to jump onto the next thought, you just end it off with saying and thing, and you just say thing. And for me, I'm listening, and I listen. You speak very quickly, but I love that because that's how I like to listen to things. So whenever I listen to somebody, a YouTube comment or whatever it is, I listen to it on 1.25 or 1.5 speed because I want to listen to things fast. It's just how I like to listen to it. So I listen to you. You speak so quickly. I think most people aren't able to recognize it, but I do. And whenever you're trying to say something, I want to hear what you're trying to say, but sometimes instead of you finishing it, you say and thing. And I think, I could be wrong, I think that is a challenge. It's going to be a challenge, especially if you go into a political career, that people who are not as nice as me will thwart that, and they'll go after that and say, what is he saying? He's not even finishing anything that he's saying here. And for you, I think you have so many great things to say. I think it's just hard sometimes for you to stop and kind of finish your set, what you're going to say, and then connect that to the other thought. You just want to connect it to the other things. Again, it's not the end of the world, but I feel like that's something that you strongly could benefit from because you have a lot of great things to say. And I'd love for you to just finish what you're saying.
Yeah, I agree. By the way, thank you. I appreciate that. Because I am aware, I'll admit, with coming out on YPTV, and part of the reason why I've never put my brand out there in a certain way is because I do notice that. I listen back on stuff like that, and maybe I don't know how to fix it. I think I have to be more intentional like I am speaking now. I think I have to slow down because when I speak fast, my mind races a little bit. A lot of why I do it is intentional. It's marketing. I get bored of this type of speech like all the time. Why I like Vivek, why I like Russell Brunson. I know I'm jumping right now, okay? But why I like it is because they are fast, they're over that. And I always would like relate to that, right? Although I will admit, even Elon Musk, I like listening to him, and he speaks very slow and methodical, right? So
He says a lot. Majority of the time he says a lot.
I can. It's a lot of disciplined work to do, and I know I have to do that. I feel like when I do that, I lose the passion to speak. I feel like when I'm going fast, I do it for two reasons. I feel like when I'm going fast, I'm passionate and I keep people's attention more. I all the time will watch when I speak people's eyes and when they're doing it, commanding a room. And more fast energy gets it better than slow. You lose people. That's one thing I've noticed. So attention as marketing is key. The other thing is, and this is probably bad, and this I can stop. And Sylvia Leslie, shout out to her. It's always a woman who makes the thing. She's like, you got to go A and B. And there's from A point to B point. And what I tend to do is if you ask me a question, I look for a chance to promote my next, right? As a marketing thing. So I jump up here and I come down here. And sometimes I don't ever come down. I kind of just stay up here too, right? And that's how I do that. And I will not do that anymore. I will come right from A, right to B, going over. This is episode 11. And if I'm not, you can call me out on it or I'll watch back later on.
Here's the thing. Like, listen, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
How did I do right there, though? I did better, right?
Yeah, much better. And here's the thing. It doesn't matter if it's much better, if it's not. It's you. It's whoever you want to be. I'm just saying that other people who are not as nice as me are going to say, yeah, what did you say when you said you were saying something and you said and thing and you just ended it there and then you went to another point.
People have, by the way, people have said that.
Right, well, right, exactly. And they're dicks and they're assholes. And I don't.
I actually do think people who say something, listen, I don't just dismiss everything like, oh, they're haters. I listen to them like, okay, I got to work on that. Like, that's always how I've done that. How I've gotten to where I'm at now as a business owner is by always listening and working and even taking some of the hate too and knowing, hey, there's some truth to that, why people are saying it. Like, not just dismissing all, because that's an ego thing of saying, hey, and I realize that. Listen, either way, I believe if I say and thing, I could become president of the United States or not. I believe it'll be easier to not do it and talk that way. You'll probably reach more than me going all over the place. But I believe if you put enough energy and enough passion, you have the best heart, people realize that at the end of the day. Like Elon Musk, he doesn't speak the best, 100%, right? He speaks however he speaks. But because he has passion for humanity, we hear it. So we follow him, we listen, and he's done it that way. And people,
the only thing I would say, this is the only thing I would say and I agree with that, is like, it doesn't matter because like Obama is supposed to be a great speaker. He said, all the time. And he never connected his words the right way. And I know he's known as one of the greatest speakers. Guys, if you think Obama's a great speaker, go listen to him speak. The guy says, all the time. Not saying that it's not a bad thing.
But he was passionate and sold the vision.
Correct. The only challenge is when you're speaking to an amount of people and you're saying I could still become president if I say, a certain thing. It might be true. The challenge is people will start to look and see. And I only know this because I've seen this from my point of view. I'm only speaking from my frame of reference. So maybe it's not true for you, but people will start to see not double standards, but they'll start to see like the opposite of what is being said. For instance, I can do this because I'm the greatest president, or I could say this and I could be president because I say whatever it is. And then they start to look and go, well, I want to believe it, but I'm looking at this. So it looks like an inefficiency. It looks like something that is like you're saying one thing but doing another. So people will start to lose trust because things aren't matching up. This happens not just by speaking. It just happens by people's actions. Biden will say whatever the hell he wants. And then people look at what he does and goes, man, I don't know if I trust him.
By the way, that's how it first started. With me first starting, as I watched Biden, I thought I could be better than that. It's very similar to me going into a karaoke bar, watching someone sing who was bombing. They're like, well, I love singing. I could do that. That was the point. Like, that was really how it started. And as it started, what's the word? As it started manifesting into it, I kind of thought more like, okay, what would it take? It would take me to be a really good leader, a really good CEO of my company and sell my business. And because I've accomplished so much already right now, I feel like I've already made it. I feel like I've already done it. Not maybe with the most likes on social media, but everything that I'm doing, getting paid to speak, consult, doing webinars, that's making it to me. I wanted to be here. I'm making a living doing that, right? So now how can I make this, exit it? And then what's next, right? So that's where this came. Okay, let's see if that happens. And last night I was at dinner at Satai over here in Miami. We'll have to come here when you come down again. Really beautiful place, buying the dinner. And when someone challenged that we're better off with Biden than we were Trump, I got very passionate, like very passionate. It's being quiet the whole dinner, got very passionate about it, spoke very fast. And the person turned to me and said, well, you can't have that temperament if you're a president because, you're too passionate or you're too whatever. And she was right. I was definitely a little out of line how I was speaking. So, but my point in saying all that is I'm listening. Dude. This is me. We're going to be on a TV show. I'm ordering all podcasts through Celebrity Podcasts. I'm going to be sitting across Mark Cuban, Jake Paul, Adam Weitzman. I was with Dan Fleischman. I'm going to be sitting. So I want to become a better communicator here. You're a phenomenal communicator,
I still need work. I appreciate you saying that. I still need work. I'm very conscious of the things that I say, and I still need a lot of work. Right there, I just said, and I think a lot of it.
I don't think it's end of the world if you say, I don't think you should make a habit of it, but I don't think it's the end of the world.
It's not 100%. It's not. I strive to be better every single day, and I don't like saying, I like better being able to connect the things that I want to say in a clear form. So the listener, I listen a lot. I've been listening since I've been a kid. I listen more than I speak. I always have. And when I listen to great speakers, I go, that's good. I like that. So I've been listening for a long time. So for me, I probably the stakes are a little bit higher for me because I've been listening to a lot more than you have, just naturally. Just because it's just who my personality is compared to your personality. So when I listen to somebody who speaks well and I go, that's who I want to sound like. I want to sound confident like that. I want to sound like I know what I'm speaking of. And if I don't know what I'm speaking of, to defer it to somebody else.
I do the same thing. Listen, I grew up long time. First mentor that I listened to was Grant, and Grant talked all over the place. And I thought it was extremely entertaining. I said, this guy can, and Grant does. Okay, like maybe not as much as me, but he did. And I always thought it was entertaining. He'll jump from everything from wherever it is. And Grant's a great speaker in his own thing. Recently who I listened to is Vivek. I love the way he communicates. And I love the way one thing he does, and maybe I should do this for the show more, and I think it would help me. I think I will do this. I'll take this serious just like I would a podcast. If you go watch any of the Make More Money podcasts, I actually had show notes and I watched it and I listened and I actually, so maybe I'll take it that way. I'll make notes on it. So that way, because Vivek has talking points, notes, and he communicates extremely well. He's live in Iowa right now. There's 2,000 people on his Instagram. And the guy's good, man. The way he speaks, I said it to Dad. I was like, Dad, if you ran for president, it would be like Trump. If I run, it's like Vivek. And he kind of laughed. But I will admit, I don't even communicate at the level of Andrew Tate or Vivek. They both communicate, or Alex Jones. I think they're all, but they've been doing it a little bit longer than me,
Yeah, I think Vivek has a very good way of speaking because of his knowledge, and he thinks a lot of the underlayer of what he's saying, and he's able to communicate that very well.
He doesn't get himself in trouble either. Like, he knows exactly how to say it the right way. Like the election was rigged because of Twitter on that point, right? So he doesn't go farther, but he's like, I can say this. Where Trump will just go, bah, da, 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 right? And then everybody can get more. You can't get Vic on stuff because he's so, he knows what they're going to do. He's very calculated on everything.
Right. And what Tate is really good at is Tate is saying things that are semi-controversial, but saying it very controversial in order to get attention. And it's smart. It's a smart way of getting people to get pissed off. And
I can't wait till we have Andrew Tate, Vivek on here. Who else? Who else you want on here? Alex Jones?
yeah, I would have all those guys on.
All right, dreamless. So we'll do it.
I think if you and I had Andrew and Tristan on, I'd like to have them on separate. I think I would enjoy my conversation with Tristan more than I would with Andrew, because I get Andrew. Andrew's very similar to how you are, and I get it. And to me, like, but Tristan's very similar to how I am. You know what I mean? So that's why I'd probably have a great conversation with Tristan.
By the way, which is why everybody, when they meet us and people meet me and they meet you, they was Josh. I always say it's a great brother. And then when they meet Andrew and Tristan, even Jake Paul said it. Jake Paul's like, Tristan's a really good dude. Like everybody, like he just comes off in this own way. And I heard Patrick and David say it too as well. And you have the same thing. And I know that. And I need to be more like that. I definitely do. I don't know how.
Dude, honestly, I think it's just embrace what God has given you. And I think God has given us certain different types of personalities. I think my type of personality is just to be a little bit more calm, collected, observant, intentional on things. And I think you, even Alex Jones, Andrew Tate, Trump is reactionary and bulldozer style. And I think you need both, honestly. I don't think like it's like pain can't exist for healing to survive. Like one can't survive without the other. You need both.
No, which is why I'm glad to do the show with you. I think me and you both compliment, whether we did business together, when we did Ed and My Let stuff, I do like this a lot. I think it's really good. Like if you asked me, Jeff, you could do anything you want and retired, and it would be doing a podcast with you. So whether we talk as the world's going crazy, and listen, Alex Jones got a ban. We have freedom of speech. Elon Musk owns Twitter. Okay, we have Trump leading in the polls. Like I'll say it. Future looks bright. Who knows where we're going to be? We're episode 11. What episode will be by the time, dude? I can't wait. Who knows if we'll even be able to live stream? This is crazy to think, but it's true. We might be on Rumble.
Dude, it's 11 months from now is when the election is. We could not.
What are they going to cook up? They got to cook up something, man.
You hear Elon said 2024 is going to be chaos, which is, by the way, what PBD said.
PBD, the year of chaos. But what's your one word? We'll end it on this, or I don't want to take control. This is your show. But
what's the one word for 2024? Last year was intentionality, I think. This year, my word for 2024. Do you have a word for 2024?
I do. I just came up with it.
What is it?
Do you know what my word last year was?
I don't.
It was omnipresent.
Okay.
This year, and I don't think I lived up to it. This year, the word is media.
Mine is consistency.
Oh, good. We'll be consistent. So when are we coming back and doing this? Are we doing these Sundays and Thursday nights, or just Sunday nights? Or like I want to have a consistent time.
So do I. So we've got until the end of 2023 to figure that out. But I made my new schedule, and honestly, I think the best days of the week for me are either going to be, for me, you could pick one weekend night if we want, or Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday.
Yeah, and I love, guys, click like, subscribe, and share. Turn the bell on, because I like doing an emergency episode. If something like Alex Jones happens and we have time to just jump on and do a half hour, like how I think we should get in the habit of doing that so people don't know. One thing I love about the PBD podcast that they do well is they just go like, oh, it's like Christmas. Like, oh, they're doing an episode. All right. And I want to give that to people. You know what I mean? And I want to bring on guests. I want to do this all the right way. Dude, I'm going to build a dope studio here, right? You saw it, right? Where I'm going to build it right in here. It'll probably take about
I know you will.
I do sales, and I can't wait. I'm going to have either Art help me or somebody else help me. And then we're going to live stream this, going to put on TV. I got my other phone back. We're live on Instagram. Shout out to everybody who came through on this. All right. Anything else you want to say?
I don't have anything, but yeah, my word definitely for next year is going to be consistency. I need to be more consistent with everything that I do. My speech, working out, my health, the food that I eat. Yeah. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. The future does look bright, as PBD would say, and right now things are looking up. And that's why we're here for you guys. All right. Be great, guys. We love you all. Please like, subscribe, share this with people that you might enjoy our content, because we're heading towards 1,000 podcasts. And I want you guys to be along the ride with us. Thank you.
And then Twitter Spaces too. I'm going to post